about Egypt. They all have technology in those pyramids because when we first came here, there were only what you call black African American people on this planet until the Caucasoid race came, which are your reptilians from your Alpha Draconis star system in the constellation Draco, which is 67 light years from Earth. These, and then you got these gray alien beings who are really reptilians wearing masks to protect themselves from the sun. They're wearing suits. So you see that Roger on that American Dad, he's based off a real species that's here in our planet, that's here in our government. The reptilians are shapeshifters in our government, like Obama, Joe Biden, all the senators they have for, like, Mitch McConnell, and all the other senators for the states. They're not real people. I mean, they are real people, but they're shapeshifters, meaning they can shapeshift into demonic lizard-like beings. We all know about this by now. I've told you many times. But you got your Caucasoid race, which is your reptilians, and you got your gray aliens, and then you got your your Antarians, which are now known as Pleiadians, which the Antarians, okay, no, the Aldebarans. Excuse me for, wait, are they the Aldebarans? Or are they the Antarians? Yeah, I think they're the Aldebarans. Because the Aldebarans, they lived in a completely different universe from ours, and so did the reptilians. But the reptilians got their ass kicked out because they destroyed the universe they were in. And a different type of being, the Anunnaki, which ruled over all of the earth from all the places you see today, Japan, China, the Caribbean. It was all black people, all black and indigenous people of Europe. The ancient Greeks and Romans were just like me, light-skinned black, because the more descendants they had, the light-skinned black were more pale, because those were the descendants of the 123. But the ones who stayed in Africa, they were the dark Negroid type race, which the Greeks called them. There's even people are trying to, I heard there's a thing where they're suing Netflix, Mr. Miss, because the government of Egypt is suing Netflix, Mr. Miss. It's kind of relevant because these nasty ass Arabs who are really white people, aka they're Caucasians, they're suing Netflix over. They're suing Netflix over. They're suing Netflix over. They're suing Netflix over because they think they were the real ancient Egyptians. They're suing Netflix because they portrayed Cleopatra as black, which she was, and she was blacker than she was in this Netflix thing. I didn't even watch it, but I saw the thing, and the Egyptians were blacker than you at the time. If you're dark-skinned black and watching this, the Egyptians were blacker than you. They are the Nubian race, which live in Egypt today, and the population of 100,000. The Nubians are all over Sudan and the southern part of Egypt, which they live in the southern part of Egypt today, 100,000. But after the Indo-European wars, the nasty-ass Arabs, they took over. And they killed all the black people and stole the technology we had that was more advanced than these MacBooks and iPhones that the white man made today. We had technology. We had portals to other universes. We had we had we had we had spaceships that could take us from here to the US and China within minutes. We had spaceships that would take us to Mars within minutes. We had portals to other dimensions, which we could go in and out of. We had all this technology, brothers and sisters. And even George Lucas said that our Star Wars was based on the indigenous people, us so-called black and Native American Hispanic people. He said this was based on the original technologies. I'm saying, brothers and sisters, we are living in the Star Wars, and there is a war in the cosmos against these pale-faced beings who are spreading our air with chemicals because they know they're at war. And we know, you already know this since 2016, nigga, if you've been woke. I'm just telling you that we have to get back to that level of technology, brothers and sisters, where we need to vibrate high. We can't go out at our enemies with bullets and guns and knives It won't work that way, brothers and sisters. It won't work. It won't work, brothers and sisters. We need to do what the Egyptians did, the Romans did, the Greeks did, which are all us, black people. Black people, we need to do what the Buddhists did. Buddha was black, by the way. Buddha was black. I hope you know that the Buddhists, these fake-ass Asian people they call today, they aren't the real Asiatics of Asia at all. No, the original people in Asia were black. The first people to populate Japan were known as Wasabi Negroes, and the Japanese government has been hiding this for years. Just a quick message to give to you, brothers and sisters. We need to get back to that level of technology because we still have, our brothers and sisters up in the sky still have that technology. And after the Indo-European and other wars, they took that technology. Like when they stole the land from the Native Americans, they don't want to admit that we were fucking them up. We were fucking them up, but royal, because we were spitting fire out of our hands and water and using the earth. We could lift giant chunks of soil and boulders out of our hands. The Native Americans and also black people, when they came to enslave us in the land called Africa, because we were never slaves. Most of us escaped to the north where they couldn't do anything about it. They even said this in history class. So most of us were never slaves, but some of us down south, most of us were enslaved at one point in time, but they want to make you think we were slaves, and we were beaten and tortured and subdued by the white man, but we were never slaves. We resisted everything of it. That's why they hung us. They cut our genitals off. Same thing with them Arabs. They're the same as them white people back before the Civil War. They hang our fucking people. I've even seen a picture of some brothers and sisters in the 90s where they cut their fucking genitals off and they hung these black people. We need to get rid of these Caucasians. It doesn't matter if they're a newborn baby. We need to get rid of these Arabs and these Asians. They don't belong on this planet. Let me tell you about the Caucasoid race. They're reptilians. You got your reptilians, your Alpha Draconians from the Alpha Draconis star system. From the star known as Thuban, which these white people call these pale-faced beings. They're not even white. They're not even white. These Asians aren't even fucking yellow. They're fucking pale-faced. They're all fucking Arabs. They're not fucking dark like us. They're a bunch of fucking sand monkeys. They're just a bunch of fucking sand chimpanzees, them fucking Arabs. You got your Alpha Draconian race. You got your Pleiadian. You got your Alpha Draconian race. You got your gray alien beings. You got your Alpha Draconian race. You got your grays. You got your Pleiadians, which the Pleiadians were in a whole different universe, but the reptilians came and attacked them. Just shows you these Caucasoids hate each other. And then the so-called Pleiadians of today, they settled on a star. I think it's Aldebaran. I'll put it in the comment section if I'm wrong for a third time. But I think they came to Aldebaran, and then the reptilians raped them, and they had sex with them, and they made children. And when the children tried to overthrow them, and the hybrids, the Pleiadian hybrids, they did this on Earth too, except this is how Hitler came to power. But that's a thing for another video. That's a thing for whole nother video. Because Hitler was actually a Pleiadian, because the Pleiadians come from a different universe. And they have blonde hair and blue eyes, just like the Nazis' Aryan race. When us black and Hispanic and Native American people, we are the real Aryan race, because we were here first. Because let me tell you about the Caucasoid race. You got the Alpha Draconians, the Greys. Well, before I tell you about the Caucasoid race, let me tell you what happened on Aldebaran, because the hybrids, they risen up against them. And they had to go to the Pleiadian star system where they created an empire. Because there were over thousands of planets, and there were 400 different stars, and there's seven stars in the Pleiades, but there's 400 different other stars. It's a star cluster. You can only see the 7 other stars. You can see all 400 with a telescope. That's why they call it a telescope, because these fucking crackers lie about. They don't know shit about science. They don't know how many stars are in there. For all I know, there could be fucking thousands of them. Those crackers lie about everything. They lied to us, said our sun was 90 million miles away, when it's actually in reality 90,000 miles, because the earth is 8,000 miles wide, and the earth is shaped like a football. It's not flat or round, but there's a dome around the earth. The Galactic Federation put in because of all of this murder and this rape and this interracial marriage, people of opposite races, species, having sex with each other. That's why the gods and goddesses, the Anunnaki, and the other noble beings of the cosmos, and like people on Venus and the aliens on Venus and Mars, they're like, oh, we don't, oh, they're fucking nasty. We don't want to fuck with them no more. They're just a bunch of fucking animals, and they haven't learned from the past like we have. So the other planets and the other galaxies blocked off the Earth. Now there's a dome around here. That's why Elon Musk can't get his rockets up there. It crashed into the dome that surrounds Antarctica. They can't get past Antarctica, these crackers. They've never been to the moon. They've never been to space. Don't let them tell you that lie, brothers and sisters. Don't let them tell you that lie, brothers and sisters. We were the original beings of this planet. We ruled all over the place, and they still have traces of us. There's still traces of us in these lands where these non-indigenous beings rule, other than America. There's brothers and sisters in Saudi Arabia. There's brothers and sisters all over France, in the Netherlands. There's brothers and sisters in Poland, Germany, Ukraine. Well, they're probably all fleeing. They're probably left Ukraine now, because us brothers and sisters, we decimated 80% of the Ukrainian people. 80% of, well, not the Ukrainian people, but 80% of Ukraine is decimated. Their people will be decimated next, along with these other Caucasoids. But so now you know the story of the Pleiadians, so we'll get into the Caucasoid race. So you got your Alpha Draconians, your Greys, your Pleiadians, okay? And you got your insectoid beings, which they control a large portion of planets in the Milky Way. We'll talk about that in another video. The reptilians control more, but the reptilians, the Pleiadians, and the Arcturians are another race. They're blue alien beings. So you got your 5 Caucasoid races from. There's more. I'm not even done. You got your Alpha Draconians. Okay, you got your Alpha Draconians. You got your Alpha Draconians. You got your Greys. You got your Pleiadians. You got the insectoids. And you got the Arcturians. And then you got the clones that these reptilians made using the Pleiadian and the insectoid DNA, along with dog and pig DNA and insect DNA. They have whipped up other species such as white people, known as Caucasians, Asian people, Arab people, and certain types of Mexican people. Not all of them, but just the light-skinned ones that aren't dark, like us, that have no melanin in their skin. Then they have the ogres and the orcs. And orcs are similar to ogres. So yeah, those are your Caucasoid races. We're living in the Star Wars, brothers and sisters. And these enemies are foreign to their are a foreign enemy to our planet, because they invaded right around the time of ancient Egypt. And they say the barbarians came, the Germans. And what they really mean when the Germans came is that they came, that those so-called Germans and those French, they were made in a lab. The Asians, they were made in a lab, and they started warring it all over our planet. These Arabs were made in a lab. They started warring it all over our planet. They made different subspecies of different humans to take over. So then they took over the Middle East and the rest of Asia. They didn't touch Australia yet. They didn't touch Africa. They didn't touch North and South America yet, but they had but these crackers, they were slaves to the reptilians because they made them as clones in DNA labs using dog, pig, and monkey DNA along with insect DNA, humanoid insect DNA. This is the type of shit white people are made out of. We don't even have DNA like them caucasoids. I call them caucasoids because that's what they are. The caucasoids. They all come from they all come from the same thing. I mean, the Pleiadians, they were in on it. That's how they made some of the hybrids. Like some of the people you see in the government are actually Pleiadian reptilians and hybrids too. A lot of them are hybrids, brothers and sisters. It's hard news, but these caucasoids, they don't belong here. They took Europe and Asia from us by spacecraft. They came down in large crafts through portals. They learned how to make portals, and they're not even as powerful as the Egyptians and all the ones they had in Africa. They took them. They even invaded Egypt and northern Africa after these crackers. They took over Rome. Why do you think they want to give you this fake bullshit? Oh yeah, they stabbed Caesar in the back. No, they stabbed our people in the back. There is no Julius Caesar, no Jesus Christ. They made that, them aliens made that Jesus Christ shit up because so those crackers wouldn't know they exist, so they could deceive themselves as gods, because they were made in a lab, and they were made as soldiers. When they came down and we started to fight them, they released the clones and they had them fight, and they used all kinds of things to destroy us, ogres and orcs, and they tried to come after us, brothers and sisters, but they couldn't push us all the way back. They were able to overtake the Roman Empire and make it completely white. That's what they mean by the stabbing in the back of Caesar. It was literally a fucking invasion. People came from the sky, and literally Rome and Greece, they were fucking replaced. They try to tell you all this shit about this fake history about, oh, the Egyptians were Muslim, the Egyptians were white. No, they were black, bruh. They were black. They weren't Muslim, bruh. Nasty ass Arabs come up looking with their crooked ass teeth, come up to me saying, we the Egyptians. No, you're not, motherfucker. You're not the Egyptians. We aren't even black people. We aren't even African Americans, all right? We are golden beings. Our organs and our blood consists of gold, and we are made of the same elements: carbon, gold, silicone, quartz, copper, gold, silver, tinfoil. Not tinfoil. Excuse my fucking language. I mean aluminum tin. Aluminum and tin, which are two elements combined together. So gold, silver, aluminum, tin, copper. Those are the metals our bodies are made of, along with plutonium, uranium, all that type of good stuff. That's what our bodies are made of. These crackers are not. They're just normal. They're just humans. We are much more than them. And that's why they so-called try to oppress our people. They try to make us work for them, and they called it slavery. That's what they mean. Because when we tried to escape They tried to do the same thing these damn Arabs did back in the Horn of Africa and Ethiopia and Somalia. They cut young black kids as young as 9. They take their genitals and they cut them off. And this is an actual history fact, brothers and sisters. That's why we need to get rid of these Arabs. They're no different than them Caucasoids. There's brothers and sisters that are living a false message in Saudi Arabia against this Allah, this Muslim bullshit. There's brothers and sisters all over America who still believe Jesus Christ died for everyone's sins, whether they were white, Asian, or so-called black African American. No, there is no Jesus Christ. That was made by alien. That was made by the gray aliens and some gray aliens, the ones that live on Mars. Those are the noble ones, because a lot of the gray aliens weren't in on the Christianity shit. Because the reptiles, the reptilian beings, they made Christianity. They made Allah and Jehovah and Jesus and all atheism and all this other shit. Atheism, the belief that there's nothing higher than yourself, or you're not a higher power yourself. When you are the higher power yourself, you make shit happen in your life. These crackers can't make shit happen without relying on their so-called government system. They just can't, brothers and sisters. That's why they had to so-called enslave us. That they did the same thing them damn Arabs did. They cut our genitals off. And they hung us from trees like we were some kind of fucking monkeys when we were the most advanced beings and we had the most advanced technology. They stole it. They destroyed it because that technology, it was making their ears bleed. It was killing them with crackers because they couldn't operate the type of technology we had. They couldn't go at the frequency of the technology we had, so they had to destroy it because all they needed to use is these so-called iPhones and computers. They don't emit radiation like uranium, but when we're made of that stuff, brothers and sisters, and we elevate to a high enough level, that stuff won't be able to affect us, because the technology we had was very highly toxic to these crackers. It had an electric frequency. It was made of pure electricity. We found a way to convert pure electricity into what you could call an iPad or an iPhone. We were the most advanced beings in the cosmos. We even gave some of this shit to the gray aliens, and I got a confirmation from this in my mind. The gray aliens, they have this technology too, because we gave it to them on Mars. We gave it to them on Mars after the Martian Civil War, because that's why Mars isn't like Earth, because there was a civil war and Mars got nuked and there was bombs. And now the brothers and sisters that are living on Mars are living underground with the so-called gray aliens who work for them, just like the white people killed the Native Americans in the casino. And now they have them working in a casino. They put them on a reservation. They have them working in a fucking casino. That's what we did to their fucking people, and we should be killing them off. But they made a peace treaty on Mars long ago. Here on Earth, we're done waiting for peace. Us brothers and sisters are tired of this fake-ass system, because we had technology more advanced. We had lightsabers. We had laser weapons. We had spaceships that could go to here from Mars in minutes, here to Pluto within a mere less than hours, from the Alpha Centauri within less than hours. We had that technology to travel through the cosmos quickly. We had those ships, and we still do. That's why they spray the sky to cover it up. A lot of them planes are getting shot down by the Brotherhood up there in the Galactic Federation. I can't say much more because the government's going to come after me, brothers and sisters. They don't want me delivering this message, but I didn't even want to make this video, but it just came to me. I was smoking some marijuana now. The marijuana gave me a confirmation like, hey, yo, you got to make this video. So yeah, we are the original beings of this planet, brothers and sisters. We had the most advanced technology in the cosmos, and we still do and our brothers and sisters in the sky still do. We're living in the Wars, brothers and sisters, and we need to get back to that. We need to go within. We need to keep doing our yoga and our meditation. We need to implement that as an everyday part of our lives so that we can become one with nature and the cosmos. This is Horus, the sky god Pharaoh. You know the deal. All power to the multi-celestial angelic beings, and may chaos reign within you forever and ever.